Chair Jones, this meeting is being recorded for public record.
Thank you. City of Seaside Community Safety Advisory Commission is called to order. Do the
At 5:51.
Yes, I'm sorry. 5:51. Do the roll call, please.
Chair Jones,
Present.
Vice Chair Thomas,
Present.
Commissioner Amarante,
Present.
Commissioner Velasquez. Commissioner Velasquez is present via Zoom.
Thank you so much.
And just for the record, although she is present via Zoom, any voting would not be done over Zoom. So
Thank you.
just an FYI.
That's fine.
Commissioner Foliaki
Present.
and Commissioner Katz.
Present.
Chair Jones, we do have a quorum.
Great. Thank you. And thank you to all of our commissioners that are here on today and to all of our guests and our city advisors. We thank you for coming. At this time, we'll review the agenda. If there are any items that arose after the 72 hours posting date, this is the point in the meeting where a vote may be taken to add the item to the agenda. Two-thirds majority vote is required. Are there any additions to the agenda on tonight? Chair Thomas, would you present the on the commission report under your as a commission report, and that way we don't have to add it to the agenda? Okay, great. Thank you.
Chair Jones, the other item that I have is the City of Seaside Boards and Commissions Code of Conduct. I can, however, present that under staff
Please.
updates. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much. Are there no additions to the agenda? Then thank you. We'll close that at this time. Public comment. We're going to move swiftly to public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the city of Seaside, but not on this agenda, may do so during public comment period for up to 3 minutes. Comments on specific agenda items are heard under that item. For the public record, please state your name. Are there any public comments or public in the virtual audience?
At this time, no, we do not have any attendees other than our Commissioner Velasquez as a panelist.
There are no other community members in our audience, so public comments will be closed at this time. We have our minutes from our last meeting. Approval of the minutes from the April 16, 2025 special meeting. They're present before you. Our staff advisor sent out the minutes earlier this week as well. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes from our April 16th?
Move to approve the minutes from the April 16th special meeting.
Been moved. Do I have a second?
I second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the minutes from April 16th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes have been approved from our April 16th meeting. We're so glad to have presentations today. And our first presentation is coming from our Seaside Fire Department, various community outreach program. And we have Administrative Assistant Rosalind Barrios.
That's Rosalinda Barrios.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What did I say?
Rosalind.
Oh, it's right here, Rosalinda.
Good evening, Chair, Co-Chair, and Commissioners. Oh,
If you don't mind, pardon my interruption. I just want to be sure that you all are aware, and also for our panelists attending via Zoom, that our projectors are non-operational here within city and council chambers. However, I am going to be sharing the screen via Zoom, so that way Commissioner Velasquez can follow along the presentation on her end, and anybody else who decides to attend our meeting.
Thank you
within.
so much.
First, thank you for inviting me and having me here this evening with you. And also thank you for what you do and for volunteering your time to help the city thrive. Thank you. So in front, you have your packet. I will be going over some of the programs and services that the fire department offers. First, really quickly, we offer public education for all residents of Seaside and Delray Oaks and anyone else that would like to join us. We do fire station tours, school visits, and we also participate in community events. Recently, we participated in CSUMB's Law Enforcement Day. We got to table at the university and share information on all the resources that we have, but also for any information on how a student can potentially become a firefighter one day. Oh, not yet. Thank you, though. Every October, we have our annual open house where we kick off the Fire Prevention Week. We have a lot of really fun and friendly activities, games, face painting, and resource tables, and live demonstrations by the firefighters. And as I mentioned, yes, next page. Thank you. As I mentioned, we table a lot at community events and we share all the resources that we have. And here you'll see some of those resources. We offer a car seat safety program where we do a free one-on-one 45 to 60-minute class with residents, but also non-residents who are interested in learning how to correctly install their car seat and safely secure their child. We have a team of, I believe, 3 fire personnel that are car seat certified techs. And actually, today we just sent a few more to go get training. And one of them is the CHAMP coordinator. So I know you wanted to hear from him, Michael Weiswitz, but he could not be here. The next program on here is the Knoxbox Loaner program. And I brought one for you to see. So anyone that's on Zoom or watching, here it is. A Knoxbox is as you can tell, it's a vault-like metal box that you can mount on your door outside your home or hang it over your door, just like in that picture that I have there. It holds a space inside for you to put a key. And that box is only open by Seaside Fire Department. We have a special key that only we have to open that. And then that's for both Seaside and Delray Oaks residents. It's really nice to have if there's like your older adult community who may have medical problems or just are unable to walk towards the door in case of an emergency. So that's really nice to have. We do have a loaner program. At this time, we only have 2 left. We did start this program back in 2015, and we've kind of given them all out. Every so often, I kind of call and get some back. They're returned once they know they're no longer in use. You can also, for those watching and listening today, you can purchase them on your own. They're about $200 or so. Knoxbox, if you search that on Google, you'll be sent to the website where you can purchase one. So you don't have to fall under these requirements in order to buy yourself one. That's more of a voluntary thing. Once you do have one, right, you have to call the fire department so we can go in and put in your keys. And every time you update your keys, you got to call us to update that. The next program we have is the smoke alarm installations. We partnered up with the American Red Cross of the Central Coast. They give us free smoke alarms and we install them for homeowners in Seaside and Delray Oaks. Next is the CPR training program. We offer CPR classes, 75 per student, whoever is interested. This certification is valid for about 2 years, and it's open to Seaside residents and non-residents ages 13 and up, and group classes are also available. Next page, please. Now, I know this is what you really wanted to hear about. And again, firefighter Weisbus could not make it today, but I feel like I know enough to share the information. So back in 2023, we, along with the police department, created the CHAMP program. CHAMP stands for Change, Hope, Accountability, and Mentoring Program. We did partner up, but eventually we separated and now kind of do our own thing. So I will be talking about more the fire side, right? This program offers teens and young adults 14 to 21 a hands-on opportunity to explore careers in fire and police services. The mentorship side of it, we mentor these young adults to serve their communities by providing knowledge, skills, and hands-on experiences through education and training led by our fire personnel. So as you can see, we attend a lot of events. We have them attend, and we do a lot of training, like wildland, forcible entry, etc. On the next page, you'll see them practicing rapid intervention techniques, or as they call it, RIC, for down firefighter rescues. And the cadets that at that training successfully located in a downed firefighter, conducted an assessment, provided a report via radio communication, and properly packaged the firefighter for safe extrication from the building. So they're basically just learning how to become a firefighter. On the right-hand side, you'll see them doing some more wildland training, and at the bottom, they are attending community events. So they help and they volunteer their time to be there. They really want to be there. You see them at the open house. You can see them having a good time. I'm very proud of this program. I've seen them grow over the last year or so, year and a half. At this moment, we have about 4 cadets. We did start off with more, but a lot of them have moved on to college. They were in high school. And at this moment, we have about 2 cadets that are in college taking fire classes at MPC in hopes to go into the fire academy. And we have 2 more that are still in high school that are hoping to go into the MPC Academy as well after graduating. They show up a lot. They come for ride-alongs. They're really excited to be there, and they take it very seriously. Yeah, that's about it for me. Do you have any questions?
First of all, let me say thank you so much for this great presentation and for this wealth of knowledge. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the programs that you guys offer, because I think that they're so important. And the Knox Box Loaner program is excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we have a Knox Box at the church, so
Yes.
which saves me a lot. Because every time if something happens, the fire department can get in. They don't have to break down the door.
Right.
They don't have to crash through a window.
Can be
They just
costly.
punch the box and get the key and go right in, and I love it. So I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
Chair Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Velasquez does have her hand up for
Okay,
a question.
I'll get
And
to
we're
her right
next. Thank
Let
you.
me just finish mine, because normally I'm last, but I'm gonna be first today. How often is the CPR training provided? Is it on a schedule, or is it by individual?
So at this moment, we have basically on demand, like whenever you want to have a CPR training, you call us and sign up for a class with the CPR instructor. We have about 2 or 3. We used to have them quarterly, but at this moment, we're doing whenever we have people who call.
That's great.
Mhm.
And then, isn't the boot drive coming up?
Yes, yes, the Fill the Boot, MDA Fill the Boot. Thank you for asking. Yes, we will be having that on Saturday, May 31st. I believe it is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So all the money that's donated goes towards the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Last year, I believe we raised a little bit over $3,000. It's a really great cause. So if you have a chance, come see us. We'll be at the corner of, I'm not really sure what it, I think it's Tioga, but I think that's wrong. It's going to be
By McDonald's.
McDonald's and
The Costco entrance, right? Costco
Uh-huh.
entrance where McDonald's is at?
yes, McDonald's and not Lucky. Lucky, yes.
Lucky's,
Yeah. Yeah, that intersection. Try to come earlier when there are less cars. Be safe.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Each of the commissioners,
Okay.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Commissioner Velasquez?
Velasquez.
I'll go ahead and you can unmute and go ahead with your question.
Yes, I'm sorry. My signal's kind of acting up, unfortunately. So I had two questions. One was in regards to the CPR class. Well, what was the charge, or was there a charge for that?
Yes, it is $75 per person.
Okay. And then my second question is in regards to the knockbox, like the durability, and I'm only asking because I have friends that are real estate agents that have the other lockbox that they put keys on, and I know sometimes those can get smashed. So I was asking the durability of the Knox box that's provided by the fire department.
Yeah, so they're pretty durable, very strong. I have not heard of anyone being able to break into them.
Okay.
And like I said earlier, it's really hard to get in. You need a special key that only the Seaside Fire Department has. I can pass it around too, so you can feel
Yeah,
it.
most people don't know what they are. I mean, when they you can mount them on. This thing is heavy. You can mount them on your.
That is,
on the
yep,
wall.
that is a good point. A lot of people don't know what they are unless you have one. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yes.
Chair Jones, I just wanted to relay, I can share these PowerPoint presentations with the commission. After the fact, it has some of the detailed information. So if you'd like, I can forward those along.
Is it the same?
Yes, I can send that.
She printed them, so. this thing is here. Every time you put it in my head, I'm not ready for the wait. Yeah,
So
those are very, very good.
yeah, and there are two designs. That one can be, it's more mounted, and then the other one's like the one in the picture where you just hang it over the door.
And so when they put the key in it and it kind of opens up and then you put your keys in there, they close it and they lock it.
Yeah, and it
It's very handy.
can hold up to 2 keys inside, 2 house keys.
And does the fire department provide any installation, or do you have to install it
That
yourself?
is a-
Because I think it's
yeah.
heavy.
That is a great question. Thank you for asking. I did not mention. Yes, the fire department can install it for you and uninstall it as well.
That was my question. And also, is that also if a resident gets it online, like you mentioned, only Seaside Fire has the key to unlock it or?
Correct. Yeah. So if Delray Oaks or Seaside resident purchases one from the Knoxbox website, they'll just let them know where they're located. The company already knows they have the same, right, the same keyhole for that, and they'll just create it to match ours, and we'll be able to gain access. Only Seaside. So not Monterey, not Marina Fire can open it. They have a different key for their city.
And then you said Fill the Boot is from 10 a.m. to,
I believe it's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., but all that information can be found on our social media. Yeah. Facebook and Instagram. Yes.
Thank you again for coming. I have a couple questions. About the mentoring program, the CHAMP program. I'm very interested. We have a lot of high-risk youth here.
Mhm.
What is the criteria? Do they have to have a certain grade point average? Do they have to be recommended?
Yeah, so once we do open up for spaces, we ask them to fill out the application and they have to have, I believe, a 2.5 GPA. They have to be in good academic standing and continue to have good academic standing in order to stay in the program. And then I don't remember if they need letters of recommendation. They do not. I don't think they do.
So
Actually.
you reach out to the high school, I presume, Aaron, over there, and you get
Yeah.
the word out to the kids?
Yeah, so when we were initially starting this program, we went to table at Seaside High School, Monterey High, Boys and Girls Club, and we post it all over social media, which is where they get all their info.
I also wanted to add that I'm the benefactor of your sandbag program a couple of years ago when we had the storms. I was down there shoveling. Also a benefactor of the smoke alarm. I called you guys because my 25-year-old furnace went out. I thought I smelled gas. They checked it out and says, hey, we got fire alarms if you want them. And they install them right there on the spot. That
Yeah,
was pretty cool.
they had a really great program in Grant where they were able to go door to door and install them.
I think, I don't know if it was the fire department or who, back when we had that, I'll call it an emergency, when the water was undrinkable till it got tested. I don't know if you remember that. I think it was the fire department that went around. I don't know who it was, but are you tied in with the emergency broadcast? I think that was referenced the alerts.
Right, it used to be Genesis. I'm not really familiar, sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very informative presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Was that it? Oh, sorry. Thank you. Any more questions?
And we want to thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And
Of course.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the pen, it does have a phone number, 831-899-6790 for those listening and watching. Feel free to give us a call if you ever have a question regarding any of our programs. I didn't get a chance to fit everything in, like you mentioned, the sandbag program. But if you ever have questions regarding anything that we may offer, give us a call. And if we don't offer it, we'll find resources, which actually our next presenter has great resources all the time. So we will find something, we'll figure it out.
Consider doing a fancy breakfast.
I don't know, but I can bring it up.
But I want to cook it.
Yeah, I can bring it up, but maybe the union. Yeah, I know oh, yes. That's probably that should be your number one question. Your first question, can they cook? Yes, they can. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow, what a great presentation. Now we have a presentation from the Family and Community Support Program. Mr. Derek Elder.
Evening, I guess at this point. Good evening, Chair, Commissioners of the Community Safety Advisory Committee. I appreciate the opportunity to get to present in front of you today. As introduced, my name is Derek Elder, and I am the Family and Community Support Practitioner. A little bit of a mouthful, I know, but it's the title. Kind of a funny, unique thing about the title is when I was first getting established, I had folks coming into the office and they were calling me Dr. Elder as if I was that kind of a practitioner. And so I had to quickly kind of, just inform that's not quite what I do. And so I'll also give just a quick note here that I'm sorry I don't have pins or keychains for you available today. All right, if you could please go to the next slide. Okay, so the Family and Community Support Program, who we are and what we do. So I was brought in January of 2021. So this is kind of post that full year of COVID and the many challenges that were faced by community, as well as we recognize the city, there were some fragile relationships between like our first responders, particularly police, and some of our community members. And this was just because folks were in levels of distress and experiencing challenges that they've never faced before. And so just as a way to help support our first responders, take some stress off of them, knowing the issues and challenges faced during COVID, the city decided they wanted to create kind of a social services type support program that could be available to our first responders, where on those calls where kind of the scope is more of the mental health, the behavioral health, the housing, people needing to be pointed in the right direction for resources that can improve their livelihoods, that they had an alternative, and that's who we are. So first in our capacity, we provide mobile crisis response services to our first responders, so PD and fire. But I quickly also realized that crises don't schedule themselves. And if we just kind of sit around on a daily basis and go, come on, someone, need our help, that, how beneficial are we truly when I know we can do more? And so I wanted to just kind of expand ourselves and make sure that we were known to the community and that we could just be a general social services program as well. Folks don't have to go through a level of crisis to get connected to us, and certainly don't have to go through 911 to then connect to our program and our services. And so we are marketed out to the community at large. We have a flyer both in English and Spanish, which is towards the back of your packets, which we'll get to. And that's just a way for people to be able to connect. And I can say, with just some pride that there's, commissioners I know in front of me who have reached out and utilized our services, not for personal reasons, but just to seek resources and information that could be helpful to someone. And so, as I mentioned, we partner with Seaside PD, Fire, many of our local nonprofits, community-based organizations. But because we are mobile crisis and have to know what's out there across the county, we do pride ourselves at being connected to, and I can't even think of the number of organizations that we are known or know us, right, across the county, as well as we are engaged in a multitude of collaborative groups or multidisciplinary teams, as you might call them, that are focused either in housing or for specific populations, whether it's older adults or youth, right? And that's just to make sure that we're always kind of in the know and in the middle of what's happening, so that Seaside can definitely make sure it's got, whatever footprint, established there. We just care, right? And so we want to know that Seaside is at the table. And so just on your right-hand side there, it says services offered. So case management is listed at the top. One thing I do have to clarify is we typically aren't the long-term service providers to anyone that comes across our program. Because of the mobile crisis capacity, we have to kind of have some quick handoffs, but we also do recognize there's sometimes gaps in terms of the time in between when we link or refer someone to another program, and they still need some bit of support. Right. So the case management is offered, but it's brief until we know then the individual or individuals are stabilized into the next longer term service provider. It's not on your bullet point list there, but one of the things we do provide, because I just believe information should be made available and known, is a resource guide booklet. And I'm sorry I didn't bring one in to show you an example of today. But I do give stacks of them to both of our first responder groups City Hall has some here. We have some over at the Oldemeyer Center. Gosh, I'm trying to think another place. The library. Essentially some of the spaces where folks gather and are often seeking help or support or just trying to gather information for what's out there. And also it helps our first responders sometimes just to have something to provide in the moment. Because the person might not necessarily want us to engage directly, but they can feel a little bit better about knowing like this isn't in our direct purview, we can at least, provide something for you that might be helpful. Okay, next slide. So just a little bit of information about our services and community engagement. I track our numbers every year based off what we call emergency calls. These would be our dispatched calls. So the ones that directly are generated through 911 pages, and then our non-emergency referrals, although everything's an emergency to someone. But these are just the referrals that don't necessarily come through a 911 contact. It could be a community member. It could be a local program. It could be city staff. It could be anyone up here. And so as you can kind of see between the numbers, they fluctuated, in our first year, we had 91 of our emergency calls, 81 of the non-emergencies. In 2022, 188 emergency calls. So there was a jump there. And then 117 of the non-emergency. And I think that jump just simply it was our second year and we were more established. I spent the whole first year really kind of developing the program and fine tuning things. The third year, 2023, we had 68 emergency calls, but 226 non-emergency. Now that trend, I think, speaks to the fact that we started making sure people knew we're here and you don't have to call 911. You could just call us. And so you saw kind of the flip flop of those numbers where we had less of the emergency calls and more of the direct outreaches from community members, other programs, other partners. And then last year, 2024, we had 84 emergency calls and 169 non-emergency calls. Next slide, please. So just a little bit more about understanding our numbers. So in all of the calls that we get total, I try to also categorize them by social determinants. And while I can't think of every single category that could fit, I just kind of put, some of the major ones. So if it's something related to health, and that doesn't mean just physical, it could be mental, behavioral, something related to a relationship and the dynamics, whether it's family, whether it's community, whether it's city to, other entities. Domestic violence, and that was a specific request from one of our council members as, in their heart, they hold a special place at wanting to help folks who experience some form of domestic violence. Neighborhood, so that's more, larger, just, what are neighborhood concerns? What's the social atmosphere? Is there any way our program could support just improving, people's well-being? And then housing. And if you look at housing, look at the very bottom total number. And this is from year 2024. You can see we had 228 total just calls, engagements related to housing. And while I didn't have the total number from that year, I could tell you it was 253 total calls that year. So 229 of the 253 calls had some element of something related to housing. We can kind of identify which area needs more help or support, right? And we know housing is a crisis, literal crisis, right now. So, okay, next slide, please. And then just finally with understanding our numbers, as you can see there at the top, total service requests were 253. And then I categorized the service types just through kind of percentages, right? So in the mental health substance use of the total calls, 58% had some elements of that. And I should have prefaced this with, it's hardly ever rare that when we were initially contacted, the issue or concern or challenge that we were contacted for is the only thing that the family person, whatever, are facing. With further assessing, engaging with them, we very quickly realized, oh, this is layered. You have multiple things going on. And so these percentages kind of speak to there's overlap. So 58% of our total calls had some mental health, substance use, or otherwise kind of element to it. 33% of those had a domestic violence challenge, a family conflict, neighbor dispute, something along those lines. 90% of the total calls had housing or basic needs type challenges. And then between our youth and our adults, 26% of our total calls were supporting youth or the transitional age population. And then 74% were for our adults or older adults. So that's 25 years old and up. And then the kind of line below there, time of service requests, this was just to track, throughout the day, when are calls coming in. And our program is available from 9 a.m. to right now 8 p.m. because there's just two of us. We used to have 3, and we could go all the way till 10 p.m. But we track calls even if ones come in overnight, just so that we know is there need there at some point to expand and offer 24-hour services or not, right? So as you can see, most of our calls are coming in during, kind of your work hours, right? So the first 3 there, right? The 9 to 12, the 12 to 3, and the 3 to 6 p.m., those are all going to be the higher percentage of numbers. We have pretty low numbers at 11% from 6 to 10 p.m., and then only 2% after 10 p.m. And I think some of it too is evaluate these numbers is with 2 of us, right? We're stretched very thin, so it's hard to make ourselves available, for longer, times of the day. But this is also a training, kind of a situation where I think it's about time again where we go to, maybe some of our first responders briefings, just do a reintroduction of who we are. They have new personnel, right, who probably aren't fully aware or understanding how they could utilize us. And so that's definitely something that I'm, is going to be part of my focus to the future. Next slide. Thank you. Okay, so I always like to explore opportunities and challenges as it relates to the program. And so just the first bullet point there, we want to just continue our efforts to make sure that our, folks are aware about us throughout the community. So just increase community awareness. We want to, and then what we've realized is we're starting to see an increased demand for services. So with our current socio-political atmosphere, with, high rates, as cost of living and other things are going up, people are experiencing more challenges. And so we're seeing more people who have needs. And because of the layers, as I spoke to, these engagements are taking longer. Right? Because other programs too are overloaded, overwhelmed. So we have to hold on to them, and we're not just going to leave someone floundering out there. So that would be more of a challenge. We want to reinforce our partnerships with the community and county agencies that we partner with, might refer to, just so that we can improve just the service delivery. They're more timely and, they're high quality. We want to be more proactive, engaging with the school district, as we just know our families could use a lot of help nowadays. We want to develop supports to address gaps in services. So just a few that I noted in parentheses there. So in terms of housing, we need to consider developing shelters for all types. And what I mean by that is many of our shelters are either for women and children, right? There's very few for just single adults. One of the highest percentage of our unhoused populations are single men. And there are very few shelters that just kind of focus on that population. There's no such thing as older adult shelters as well. So when you have senior populations who go into an unfortunate unhoused situation, many of the shelters aren't equipped to support them because they're unfortunately have, disabilities, other challenges that the shelters can't there's no way for them in their capacity to support medication needs, right? You name it. Transportation, right? So I put transportation passes, which is more a solution to this. I've worked a program, at another agency in the past where they had a established partnership with their county's transportations, system out here at MST, right? And essentially that program got so many passes a month, and then the agency, per their discrepancy, could, dole out the passes to its clients, and they can use them throughout the week until the next time they met, right, to get to appointments and things. And it encouraged, reinforced more success at actually attending, right? As folk, that's one of the things we hear out here is a lot of services are in Salinas. How do we get there? So then they just don't go. Yeah. And so, thinking again of how do we try to support a gap? I have reached out to MST. I'm trying to see if I can work out a relationship where that's something that could, possibly develop in the future. Hotel vouchers, it's the same type of situation, right? They're very limited. And as of right now, as far as I'm aware, the only vouchers for hotels available are connected through an inclement weather program that only happens from November to March. And so there's no free floating vouchers, so that at another time of the year where it might be most appropriate, and this is your folks who need respite coming out of like the hospital, older adults who can't go into a shelter because the shelter can't support their needs, right? Those types of things. It's not just to put people in hotels. It's not ideally there aren't services then made available to them. But unfortunately, there are times where hotels are needed for folks as the only option. Older adult care habitability needs. So Seaside has a significant older adult population. And just one of the things that we've identified through my program is in going in the homes, outside of the homes, the yards, they can't maintain them, right? The yards are starting to just have overgrowth. The homes themselves are deemed unsafe or uninhabitable or unsanitary. And so, the idea of having like whether it's, folks who need community service or some kind of youth to older adults, partnership program where we could then bring them in. And when those situations are identified, there can be some helping hands for them to address those things. All right, next bullet point. I just put expansion of low income or affordable housing options. Remember my statistic or numbers as we tracked all of the housing needs, right? I think sometimes housing's approach is an all or nothing thing. We need giant structures and this and that, and otherwise there's nothing we can do for you. And it feels like there's levels that you can build up to, right? And so we should be more open to considering whether it's tiny homes or modular type setups and there's things out there that I think are very affordable, but it will take the convincing of minds and housing it's one of those things that while we recognize the importance and any one of us could end up unhoused, any one of our family members could end up unhoused, there's just a stigma, right? There's a picture that's painted around who is unhoused that then unfortunately puts a bit of hesitation on us truly solving, I think, the problem of homelessness. So I don't know. We'll keep working at it though. And then just the last bullet point there. One of the challenges sometimes is that delayed entry into those linked or referred longer term services that I talked about. And so again, we will then stick by you no matter what until we know you're there, right? And so that's also out of our control at times as we don't control our partner agencies and their processes and policies, but we do our best to advocate on behalf of folks too, to try to push things along. Next slide. Collaboration and public awareness. So I won't go through all the bullet points, but just on the left side, and the list is not exhaustive of the total number of partners or that we collaborate with. But as you can just see there, I've listed many. And then on the right-hand side, that where you see the two pictures, that's just to highlight that we do ourselves offer a resource fair event, an annual resource fair event. The past couple years has been over at Laguna Grande Park, and we just had ours this year on the 17th. And is basically bringing out as many of our community partners across the county to come resource table, share to the community who they are, what they do. We usually offer some free food, a little bit of entertainment, a raffle to try to draw the people in. It's a great event because it also just brings community out there. And then our partners really appreciate it because they're like, gosh, and talking with each other, we learn in detail what each other's doing because we thought we knew what this agency did over here or this agency did over here. And then we realized, oh, you do this also, and they found ways that they could, themselves either, collaborate or just expand on the services they provide. Next slide, please. And then our program, we are the homeless, the staff liaisons to the Homeless Commission for the city. And so some of the work that the Homeless Commission does, when it gets, a decent, set of funding, is it wants to definitely try to make sure it supports in many areas the needs of the community. So we know food insecurity is a huge one. So they had an RFP process this year where they had, I want to say $15,000, and they were able to then take in proposals and consider those to be able to then distribute funds to certain organizations and local that provide some form of food insecurity services to those who need to access food. On top of that, the totality, they've also given about $25,000 of donation funds to youth advocacy programs that support unhoused youth, to Salvation Army, Casa de Noche Buena, amongst others. Oh, yeah, my list is in green there. The California list is in green there. I did list them all. And so you can kind of see there the bullet pointed list, Bethel Ministry, Stepping Stone, Allen Friends, Pastor Word Ministry, World Outreach Services, I Help, All In, Salvation Army, Casa de Noche Buena, and Epicenter. And then last thing that the Homeless Commission has done is it's held listening sessions. We know it in Seaside that it's very important to hold community input, type events where we bring in the community or those who have the lived experience and hear from them directly. What are your needs? What works? What doesn't work? What's available currently, so that we can be more informed, and then we can either, develop more programming, change things, you name it. And with that, you can see there our family support team. There's just two of us, myself, and then my technician, Denise Mejia, and she's wonderful. She's like the left hand, I'm the right hand of the program. And there's our contact information. And I forgot to mention earlier at the beginning, our services are free. So you don't have to have a certain type of insurance. You don't have to, I've had people offer to pay me. I was like, no, I can't. And then Denise herself is Spanish speaking. So we do have the Spanish speaking option in terms of services. And with that, I'll take questions. Oh, I'm sorry. And then in your packets here, it's not going to be on the Zoom, but I did provide you our program flyer that does get distributed out. On one side is English, one side is Spanish. And then there's just a little informational as well as to who we are that we didn't give to like partners and other organizations and whatnot. That's also English and Spanish. And with that, now I'll take questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Elder. It's
a lot. No.
Well, I mean, it's a lot, but it's a lot that you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not only do you do a lot, but it's a very needed services. So we appreciate your presentation. Maybe some of the commissioners may have. Let me start with Commissioner Cass first.
Again, thank you, Derek, for coming in. I've got a few questions. Your population you're dealing with oftentimes are the people that are most at risk.
Mhm.
How safe do they feel here in this community?
Ooh, I think that varies. Communication we've gotten from the most supportive side is they see Seaside kind of as a hub or taking the lead in terms of being truly about service. So that it has the most diverse range of programming and supports out there, such as mine, that other communities don't have. So on one hand, we do hear that, but we also do hear at the same time that it's not enough, right? And so despite, having us here, we are limited into what we can do for people. So sometimes people don't find us as helpful. How come you don't have funding to put me in a hotel, or how come you don't have, right? Those types of things, right? And it's no one program's ever going to be able to offer everything that everybody wants, right? Especially those who are at risk, right? When you're at a level of heightened stress, when you're experiencing many challenges, right? There's a level of frustration that you do experience because you would hope that the one place you go is a one-stop shop and you'll be able to get all your needs addressed, all of your challenges fixed. And it just, unfortunately, we're not always able to do that.
Are you able to apply for grants?
So not directly, because we are a city entity that's directly funded through a city, but we do receive a budget that does allow us to, provide certain supports to clients, whether it's for our unhoused. We do provide care kits. And so those are filled with toiletry items, with clothing items, with weather appropriate items. So we'll put ponchos in there or umbrellas during the rainy season, right? Blankets, gloves, beanies, right? Things like that. So we try our best just to supplement the smaller pieces that we can do, not necessarily always being able to do the larger things of putting a roof over someone's head or, yeah.
I've got more questions, so I'm going to let other commissioners ask.
Sure.
Give you a break.
Thank you so much for the presentation. You offer so many wonderful services, but I still think there's a lot of people in our city that don't even know that you exist. So how can we help you to get the word out about the services that you offer?
That is a good question. And I think what I can do right on my end is provide like our flyers and things more so that when you're out in your spaces, if you remember, right, it can be easy to say, is it okay if this flyer gets posted in your business or, right? So we have them posted like in the library, for instance, right? And police and fire and, but those make sense because those are our primary partners. But I think if there's ways to just have it out in the general community in places where you wouldn't think to put them, but it's where people frequent, that would be helpful for sure. I know I've seen them on and off and like the city council, the news communications that they send out sometimes either by email or they'll do, during the meeting. I'd say it should be, I think, a permanent kind of fixture in those things, right? And that's something I can kind of, communicate as well. If you have creative ideas as well, that could be helpful. I have been, at times been kind of told like, well, what about local media and things of that nature? And I don't have a lot of experience reaching out to like newspapers and things, but if there's support I can get with doing that, or if you have contacts or things, then that could be a way as well. Yeah.
And my last question is, do you anticipate any problems with your program with the flurry of federal funding cuts that have taken place already or possibly on the horizon?
Just that we'll probably get an increased client load. So the benefit or the positive about our program is we are city funded. So we're not
You're not.
We're not dependent on federal dollars to exist. And what I do appreciate about the city is they had that kind of forethought as they were creating this program and think they just need to be available to do the work without chasing dollars and worrying or not if they'll be available the next month or the next year or whatnot. Where I'm hearing that from many of our partners now, they're having to decrease services, they're having to shut down programs, you name it. So I do appreciate that Seaside is like, this program's important and we know what you do is needed. So you're funded. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Elder, as a member of the community who has called you earlier this year myself, I just want to thank you for returning my call and giving me the information that is very helpful and very useful. And I just wanted to say one more thing. I heard you mention that we have a lot of elderly folks in Seaside.
Mhm.
And a lot of our elderly folks are not into having an email address or being on social media.
Mhm.
So, maybe, but I think they still do.
I see where you're going with that. Yeah, yes.
Just want to throw that out there.
Right. And granted, we are known to our local, city programs, so the older adult programs, and a lot that happens over at the Oldenmeyer Center. At least they're informed and aware, like, hey, we exist. And I think this is a reinforcement thing is when you're young and new and something unique like we are, it's going to take still time for people to remember I have that as an option to help in situations where it's appropriate and it didn't used to be there. So I got to train my brain to go, all right, if this circumstance or situation happens, I can receive some level of support from, the Family Community Support Program because it is under their purview. And so I think still, this is year 5 of us, right? And it takes about 5 years, a little bit more for a program that's new to get kind of established and to some level permanency so that then it can be more known. And so I think that's would say the last piece of this now is we're developed the program process and everything I've already got going. And so we know we can do the work. We're ready to go. We're out there. It's just making ourselves more known. And that was one of my bullet points, right? Yep.
No questions. Thank you for the presentation.
All right. Yeah.
I do have a question from Commissioner Velasquez. So Commissioner, go ahead.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I had just a couple questions and a couple comments. So, one question, have you considered using census data for your outreach for elder citizens or elder residents for Seaside? Just like a regular, first class mail or snail mail campaign?
I'm sorry, what was the name of the?
I was saying, have you considered in regards to outreach to our elder residents, have you considered just a regular, first class mail campaign, like a postcard or something, just notifying? And I only asked that because I know when I lived in Phoenix, that was a thing where they would go off of census data and kind of, they would send out postcards for different city services based on, the demographic they were trying to reach. And usually with the elders, they use the census data because like Commissioner Katz said, our elders usually are not online.
Right. Yep.
And they're still looking for postcards in the mail.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't considered that until just now. Thank you so much for the idea.
You're welcome. And then also I'm also on the school district board. And so would you consider sending like maybe a 1-pager to me so that I can forward that to PK and maybe we can send that out on our parent square just to kind of remind our Seaside students?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can definitely do that. I'll send the our flyer that we send out. That's a general flyer to community. And then I do have a 1-pager informational just about who we are and what we do.
Okay. And then now, budget wise, do you know if you guys are funded through the block grant, possibly through the city of Seaside?
I'm not quite sure. dig that deep into the budget to know. And so, but that is a good question.
Okay, now, the
Yeah.
only reason I'm asking is because with your volunteer landscaping program, or whether it's someone that needs community service hours, block grants were basically designed for that in regards to minor home repairs and landscaping for either elderly, disabled, or veteran residents.
Uh-huh.
And so I had been researching that from my father's property for a few years, even after he passed away. And what I finally got from Sacramento was that when it came to our area, some block grants are funded via the county. So they'll look at how many residents and they'll say, okay, well, we're going to give the grant to the county and then let the county disperse it to the cities within the county.
Mhm.
But they said that with our area, they actually give the block grants to the individual cities. And so when we had called about the Seaside grant, after I spoke with the woman in the Capitol with housing, she stated that, or the contact here in Seaside stated that that money was like the use of that money was already predetermined. And so when I asked, I said, well, is it going for repairs and things like that, since that is supposed to be a part of it, and like taking care of graffiti and things like that. I wasn't really given a definite answer, but I do know that that money is supposed to be earmarked for things like you just mentioned,
Okay.
like the volunteer landscaping. So you may
Right.
want to check with the city of Seaside to see what's going on with the current block grant for 2024.
Yeah.
And,
Okay. Mhm.
and then my last question is in regards to the emergency housing. I'm a respite worker, and one of the things I'm noticing is that I don't know if you're aware, but oftentimes when it comes to special needs adult children, housing is normally in their name if, say, their parent is also their HHS worker.
Uh-huh.
And so oftentimes when that special needs child passes away, the parent, caregiver, or caregivers, whether it's both parents or one parent, often is just basically kicked out because the Section 8 was in the child's name. And so do you guys handle that, or can you guys assist or advocate with that? And I'm only asking because I personally know a family that's going through this now, where they initially were actually forced out of Seaside to Salinas because their Section 8 voucher was going to expire and they couldn't find housing here. So they had been forced to Salinas, which kind of messed up all of his day programming and all that. But now that he's passed away, the mother's housing is now in limbo because of the fact that everything was in the child's name. And, she was the conservator and IHHS worker. But what we're being told is that, she's not the Section 8 person. So do you guys advocate for that, or is there would I be able to give them your contact information on that situation?
Definitely. Yes,
Okay.
please provide our contact information because we also partner with programs like our California Rural Legal Assistance, Echo Housing that does tenant landlord disputes and other housing type challenges. And so I'm sure in some way or another we may be able to help them get connected to some support out there that can help them as they are trying to navigate this, advocate, make sure that their rights aren't being violated, et cetera.
Okay. And then I just have one last comment. You mentioned about giving out blankets and like ponchos during the rainy season. Have you guys done any blanket or coat drives?
Not drives. We ourselves, and this is something that also as we kind of get out there is we just receive donations either to our office directly and or if there's a need to purchase some, then there is a portion of my budget that I can use, for those things. There was an attempt to try to establish a coat drive with a partner, and then they pulled out last minute, unfortunately, just due to funding cuts. And so it is something that we're definitely open to, though. And our program is next door to the Community Partnership for Youth program, and they as well, which they're well established with the school district, which is great. They have sometimes right outside their office, like clothing closet events where people come and they can select through a bunch of donated clothing and, to meet their needs. And then we try to, because we're right next door, jump in alongside them as we receive lots of donations. But if there's any group that wants to try to partner with us on something like this, we are more than open.
Okay, so then I'll give you a call and see what I can do. I just did the prom drive for MPUSD, so I can see, because one of the things I've wanted to do for a while is to do a coat drive. So
yeah.
I can reach out to you later this week and maybe we can figure something out.
All right.
All right. Well, that's all my comments and questions. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, but thank you again for doing this presentation.
Such a pleasure. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I think.
How can I get, I know totally get the library and stuff like that, and like if I go in.
Sure. Right. You can contact me, and then, with that, because I'd have to just go and, print them out, produce them. But if I'm contacted with a request for them, then yes, I'm happy to print them out and hand deliver. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what kind of items, in case we wanted to donate, what kind of items, like socks, shoes?
Yeah. All of that, right? Yeah. Anything that's a basic need type item. Yes, for sure. So hygiene, toiletry type items, clothing items as well, because those are important. And thinking, time of year, weather, or things like that, right? So that it's appropriate. Things for our houses that they could use, but I don't see in care kits, like I said, or blankets. I don't see those in a lot of other care kits that are offered during the rainy season. Gloves, right, or the colder season. Gloves, beanies, things like that. We put combs and things that I don't see kind of in other kits, right? The ponchos that we found too, there's a way that you can kind of fold them up, some makeshift, so they could be covering over you, right? So trying to think what's the best support of those things that can be offered too. Yeah, anything that's a basic need that's going to protect people from the elements, because primarily the folks that are obviously seeking donations or coming are going to be your low income or unhoused.
Just say, for instance, if my organization wanted to do a donation, say it's coming up into the summer months.
Yes.
If I wanted to get like a listing, could I get a listing like from you of just, you can make these kind of bags?
Sure. Yes. Sure.
Like that.
Yeah. We can do that. Yeah. I can do that. Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
I ain't making a promise.
Right.
But on top of that, everybody.
I think Commissioner Katz had
Sorry.
Again, thank you. I know this has gone longer than I told you.
That's okay. No problem.
I'm trying to get clarification. I'm fairly familiar with like the Seneca Mole Crisis Response Team, that if it's a youth in crisis.
Sure.
And of course, behavioral health goes out if it's an adult in that scenario.
Mhm.
Are you actually being contacted and going out like with the police for 5150 kind of stuff? Or?
At times, yeah. And the work I think gets divided, between the three, depending on the time of day, the population. I know sometimes, because we also do operate on call on Saturdays, and there's times where county will get the call at the same time as us, and then who can get there kind of first to respond to help our first responders, right? Typically within Seaside, they, if it's during our operational hours, they're going to consider us first. But then as needed, the other options are available. And sometimes they're going to be the most appropriate just because we're either not operational during those hours or, or just not available because we're stretched so thin with just two of us. Because there are times where we've got multiple calls and we're already both preoccupied and things. And, I used to have a team of 3.
I also, I'm familiar somewhat with Casa de Noche Bueno and of course the Salvation Army.
Mhm.
Do we have any, does the city have any like safe spots that you can park your car in and spend the night, that sort of thing? Is it?
Not in general, for the general population. The Monterey Adult School does have a safe parking program that they operate, but obviously you have to have a child that's somehow participating within the Monterey Peninsula School District. I'm not quite sure what the capacity is, but I do know they do operate that on the adult school campus, but it's for the specific population. Otherwise, there is the Orphan Productions, the safe parking that I think has 2 locations. I'm just not quite sure where they are within the county, but there are safe parking programs, just not directly in Seaside.
No, Seaside, okay. Yeah, the church I attend, we have safe parking there. We also do IHELP.
I do know like Bethel Ministry does a little kind of bit of a safe parking thing that at their church as well. But it's not an official large, they don't broadcast themselves as a large, for the entire county type of.
My perception was that there are places that they know they can go, people that are unhoused can park their car, maybe stay there a few days, or
Right.
longer than a few days. I don't know if that becomes an issue with everybody, or if the church is allowing them to go in and use the facility. I don't know. But what I'm hearing, I think, is we really don't have anything in that.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Correct.
That's it for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
I believe we have one more question from Commissioner Velasquez. Go ahead.
Oh, it's actually just a comment. So, Mr. Elder's correct. For the safe parking at the adult school, that is for the families of MPUSD students. But I do know that the organization that does the safe parking, which is called Safe Fish, I believe is the name. You could check to see what other
Fish.
parking locations they have for the public in general. But I believe their name is Safe Fish.
Safefish?
Yeah, like
Oh, not
safe
starfish? Okay,
or
safe.
star. Maybe it's starfish. Maybe
I think
you're
it's
right.
starfish,
It's
right?
one of,
Yeah.
it's either starfish or safe fish. It's
I
something.
think
I
it's
know
star. I think it's
fish.
starfish. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are listed in our resource guide. I'm sorry, I don't have one for you today, but yes, I believe it's starfish. Yeah.
So
yeah.
they're the ones that they do have other parking locations. I think
Yes.
within Monterey and Santa Cruz County. But you'd probably have to reach out to them to find out where those are.
That's correct. Mhm.
Thank you.
So much. So informative. Just can't thank you all enough.
Very welcome. Thank you again for having me.
And as you know, you don't have to stay for the rest of our meeting. You're free to go.
Actually, I know Chair Jones, I was just about to relay that. So again, both thank you very much. I know we have just a little bit more business to take care of, but feel free to skedaddle if you'd like.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. All right. I think we should table the annual work plan, but keep it on the, did we have any updates? I don't think any updates so we can table that. Is that okay? Was the commissioners, everybody, all right. Now we'll move into our report from our commissioners. And I'll start, as always, to my far left with Commissioner Katz.
Nothing to report.
Commissioner,
Thomas.
Yeah.
Vice Chair Thomas.
Vice Chair Thomas.
Right next to him.
That's well, I know.
Chair Jones, actually, if you'd like, we can ask Commissioner Velasquez since she is in attendance.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Velasquez, do you have any updates or any report?
I actually wrote something down earlier and I don't know where I put that. Actually, could you come back to me?
Yes, we will.
Circle back
Thank
around.
you so much. We'll circle
Okay,
back
thank
around.
you.
All right, Commissioner Thomas, Vice Chair.
Yes. My report this evening is in regards to jackets for the Safety Commission. Commissioner Vasquez, can you see? If I'm holding it up, can you see it? Is she there?
I can.
Hey, I'll stand up.
Oh, cool. Are those our jackets?
Well, we're deciding right now. We want input from all of you. Right here, we're accepting positive. We will have a City of Seaside logo. You're not gonna be able to see it too far away, but it's a City of Seaside logo. And then the city clerk also said that we can have additional text placed on the other side that says City of Seaside Safety Commission. So we
Okay, question, is the logo going to be in color or just black and white? Well, I guess it would just be white.
I think it's black and white.
Okay.
And they are $35 a piece. You said you were going to ask.
I did, but I don't remember what she said.
Okay. They're $34 a piece, and there has to be a minimum of 3 that we purchase. They're from a local vendor, I believe. So we need to decide on whether or not we would like to purchase these, how many we would like to purchase, and anything else. Which size, like this is a large that I'm holding up right now.
But I'm sure they probably come in back to large and do that.
Yeah, yeah. Would you like to- No, no, and here's the logo that you can look at.
Somebody
I'll sit down.
Needs to model it.
Well,
We need a
yeah,
model.
spend $30 on a jacket, I gotta see if it fits.
I think that,
Should they have a budget?
yeah,
We'll check on that.
yeah, we'll check on
That's
That's very nice.
Very nice.
that. Yeah, thank you.
I'll do that.
Okay, so if any of you have suggestions or decide that you want one,
That's a
we'll
large.
send out an email in regards to. I think everybody needs to see what size they would want if you're interested in getting one. We're checking on something in regards to the pricing as to whether or not this will be funded by us or by the city. We will get back to you on that.
Well, I think they look good.
I think the writing, the seaside, should be in white. It's gonna be, if it's gonna be or do they, now will they, will they? Now I know this is black, so we can probably, they may have this in different colors as well.
I have one silly question because I've gone through a lot of apparel purchases for other organizations. Personally, you may want to ask if it's going to be just silk screened or if you have the option of having it embroidered,
Okay,
because embroidered will definitely last longer.
that's.
Mhm. Believe that the fabric that you've got there, it's not like it's 100% cotton. It's a blend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I have a number of those type of jackets and they don't shrink. They last really good.
Mayor Velasquez, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say if we do the embroidery, I know that a couple of my relatives that sew, when they get jobs that require embroidery, they'll handle everything else, and then they usually will take the garments to Federico's in Monterey
They have a
for the
local
embroidery.
vendor. Seaside has its own vendor
Yeah,
okay.
we have a local as well that we work with.
in the city. It's not that far. Right up there. All right, that's great. Thank you, Commissioner Thomas, for all of your assistance and
You're welcome.
for following up on that. All right, is that it? Commissioner Emery?
Nothing to report.
No report.
Thank you so much. And I have no report. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Katz.
It's just a point of procedure that I'm a little unsure of. Earlier, we said we couldn't have a vote by someone who was in Zoom. If I remember right, when the city commission was meeting, they had one of their commissioners voting by Zoom. Is there a different? I attended the city commission meeting earlier. I think it was Wednesday, last week.
Thursday.
Was it Thursday?
Thursday.
Okay, it was last Thursday, and
Thursday.
because they said she had laryngitis or something, and they had her on the screen. I think they took a vote about allowing her to vote. I'm not sure. I didn't pay that much attention to that part of the meeting, but I'm just wondering if if that's different for us than the city.
I'll have to go and check with the city clerk. So in order to follow up on your question, I can get that information and provide that to you after the meeting.
Okay,
So
that'd be
I'll
great.
check with the city clerk and
Yeah, I
then we
just
can do
wanted to
that.
Make sure that, so we're. It was?
Yeah, the last I heard as well, and that's the reason why I stated that a vote is not allowed. But if you're bringing it up because it was done at a council meeting, then I can go ahead and check with the clerk and find out why it was and if there's been a change. And then I can relay that information to you if you'd like.
That would be great. Thank you.
That concludes our commissioner's report. Now it is time for our work.
Actually, I had a report.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We will circle back around to you.
Sorry about that. I have wrote it down. I'm sorry. It's the medication. If I don't have it in front of me, I'm not going to remember. But I had attended the Special Olympic Games at MPC, and there was, I mean, other than like the 1,100 athletes and their families that attended, I want to say it was Monterey PD and the sheriff's office that were also in attendance. I believe it was the sheriff's office that actually did the torch. And so I just, and it was the games were great. My son participated. There were some other students that I knew that participated. Everyone had a really, really great time. But I wanted to bring it up because I wanted to still possibly, since it's every May at MPC, I wanted to know if possibly maybe next year Seaside PD could possibly participate because of course, the students came from all over the county. But I was just saying in regards to law enforcement, since there are law enforcement from different areas, if possibly next year if Seaside would be interested in participating.
Well, we'll probably have to have Gina, our staff.
I actually can respond to that. So yes, Commissioner Velasquez, we are involved every year. When we are staffed, we're adequately staffed and are able to allow those officers to go out there to participate. We do participate. However, we are part of the law enforcement torch run. I actually personally am the team captain for that, and I have been doing that for the past 6 years. So we do participate in that aspect. So yes, we do put the request out there if we do have the staff available because it is outside of their normal scope. And usually even if they're on duty, you have to remember that's outside of our jurisdiction. So it's not like they can just roll out there during their normal hours because it is outside of our jurisdiction while they're watching the city. But if the overtime is available or, the people are here during that time, then they are actually participating. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the camera right now because I know I'm talking to you. You can see me. But yes, we do participate. We participate with the law enforcement torch run, and I was actually going to bring that up during my report. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We were, just to let you know, we were towards not the, we were in the middle, but towards the front, not towards the back. So once they put us all in our sections, it was kind of hard to see who was there, but I just know coming in, welcoming all the athletes, we saw Monterey PD and then the sheriff's office on the sides of us. Okay, thank you.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. Now it's time for our staff reports. And tonight we're fortunate to have Commander Dozier. I'm gonna call you the wrong name. I'll get playing.
It's all right.
They try to help me and I still call you right. Thank you for your patience.
Of course.
It's all about that. Presentations.
Good evening, Commission. Tonight we have just really 2 items to bring forward. One is we're preparing for our 4th of July enforcement preparations. We're completing our plans and we're getting ready for our next city council meeting. We'll be presenting what our enforcement plan is, which like last year includes our extra officers on the street for enforcing illegal fireworks, plus our drone unit as well. We have a little bit of a couple changes this year as well, which includes another command post down at Home Depot, which is a command vehicle, another one down at Home Depot. Also some other education strategies. As you guys are well aware that we have our not ShotSpotter, the brand, but a competitor called Flock for gunshot detection. They have a new feature where it detects fireworks as well as gunshots. So we're going to be taking that information when we get the firework detection, take that information and start going out to those neighborhoods, not accusing anybody of anything, but be there and let everybody know that, hey, we know that's going on. We know it's a nuisance. So please don't be afraid to call us when the fireworks go off, hoping that we do come in contact with the ones that are setting it off and just get the message out there that we know what's happening and letting them know that we are going to do extra patrols in those neighborhoods and that we're aware of the illegal fireworks happening. So we're preparing for all that this year. Also, the second item is our hiring. We're continuing to hire. We have 1 in the academy, 2 in our FTO program at the moment. They're almost done. So hopefully there'll be solo beat officers in the near future. They have 1 more month left. And our academy student, she'll be graduating August, I believe, correct? Gina? August? Yeah, August. Yeah, she'll be graduating August. And we have several people in the pipeline right now to be hired. So yeah, that's our update.
How many women are on the force?
Right now we have 3, correct, Gina? I think 3. Yeah, 3 at the moment, yes. And then the one, yeah, in August. No, she's part of the 3. Sorry, she's part of the 3. Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Could you update me on what kind of fireworks are allowed in the city right now?
At the moment, no fireworks are allowed at the moment.
During the
Correct.
July.
Yeah, during the allowed legal season in City of Seaside, only Safe and Sane fireworks are allowed. So those are the fireworks that are sold at the booths that are stamped by the state fire marshal. Those are the only ones that are legal, but they're only legal during the window that the city council set forth. And there's a new curfew that went in effect last year that continues on this year as well. Yes.
I have a question from a community member in
Yes.
regards to expired prescription drugs.
Yes.
She was told by her doctor she has some expired drugs at home.
Right.
And they were told to surrender them to the police department. Is that correct? What
Yes.
they do?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a bin in our police department.
Mhm.
Anybody can bring even prescriptions that aren't theirs. A lot of times there's family members that will move away and they find prescriptions. They can bring them on down and put it in our prescription bin. So we have that in our PD. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, man.
Of course.
Always very insightful.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
It's Gina's time.
I was trying to look up the actual date of the torch run because it is coming up in June. And that's one of the things I wanted to bring up. But first and foremost, you have in front of you a copy of the City of Seaside Boards and Commissions Code of Conduct. I was requested by the city clerk to have you sign a copy and leave it for me. Commissioner Velasquez, what I can do is I can email you a copy of this. If you don't mind signing and then returning it to me, that would be great. I need to turn that into the city clerk. And then.
Yes, I can do that.
Perfect. And then secondly, like I said, I did want to state that we do have the law enforcement torch run coming up, and it is in June. I want to say it's on Wednesday. I want to say it's Wednesday the 25th or Tuesday the 24th. However, I will be providing some information. I'll be sure to CC the commission on that information when I send it out. So you'll see that, and it'll definitely be on our social media as well.
That'll be great.
Okay. I'm not sure. I can take the whole thing unless you need the front part. I mean, that's information for you anyway. Oh, you know what? No, let me take the whole thing. It looks like it's all attached. Let me take the whole thing
Okay.
because it references the code of conduct, so it'll be good for it to be
It's
attached.
probably online anyway, I would think.
Yes. And that's it for me.
Oh,
That's it for you? Wow,
I don't think we have.
well, we've had a,
Excuse me, Chair Jones, I had a quick question,
yes,
if possible. It was in reference to Commander Dozier when he was talking about the fireworks. I just wanted to know, did we ever hear back in regards to the possible drone shows that we could possibly do?
the city, the chief, talked once about, the 4th of July, the city putting on a program for the 4th of July to include a drone show, possibly cut down on the fireworks or the illegal fireworks or.
During our recent meetings for 4th of July, there's been no talk of a drone show this year. I haven't heard the city council talk about one either for this year. I know there is still an interest in it. Also fireworks, like a fireworks show put on by the city, but so far that's not happening this year, as far as I know. Right.
That's when the drone show would have probably been given, is when the city put on their big
Correct.
July program.
Correct. Yes.
As I remember, there were several alternatives he threw out there, including having a designated location to fire off all the fireworks, that sort of stuff. But there were a lot of things we talked about. So,
Right.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I just had one other comment in reference to Vice Chair Thomas. Another place that you can take expired prescriptions that my family has used is Walgreens on Fremont and Canyon Del Rey. Their box is usually empty. I know there's also CVS pharmacies, but I've found with CVS, their boxes are usually full. So I've always just usually gone to Walgreens. So I know they have a box. I just think I know you can't put inhalers and needles, but everything else can go in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Any other commissioner has any more information that we need to know? Can I have a motion to dismiss?
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Who is second, all in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is now adjourned at 7:23 p.m. Wow, it was a long meeting, but it was good. It was good.